Hey howdy, hey everybody. How goes, how goes, how goes? Hey party people. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, hey, hey. I'm doing good, doing good. Aside from being sick, I'm doing good. So sorry if my voice is coming in a bit on the tired side. I've had one heck of a week. One heck of a week indeed. But how's all of you? Haven't seen y'all in a while. Oh lordy lord, it was pretty serious. I wound up in the hospital on Tuesday. And basically what happened is I was feeling off like all day on Tuesday. It started with like weird pains in my arms that like also started happening in my legs. I just thought, maybe it's just like some muscle soreness, maybe some tension, stress, whatever. And then early evening I got this sharp pain in my chest and it hurt so bad I started like breaking down crying. And my family was like, yeah, no, this is no good. We're going to the ER. So I went to the ER, and even though I had chest pain, they had me wait for like forever, even though their little kiosk said if you had chest pain, you'll get seen immediately. It's like, no, nope, that wasn't the case. But I finally got seen, and they ran a bunch of tests, and they found I have blood clots in my chest they're on the small side, but they were starting to grow, and they were migrating towards my lung. So good thing they were caught early, because I had a blood clot in my lung back in 2020, a couple weeks after I gave birth to my baby, and that was no fun. That was really painful and really scary. So I had to spend a few days in the hospital while they gave me hospital grade medicine via very painful injections in the stomach to break up the blood clots best they could, and also gave me painkillers. And I got like no rest in the hospital because when they weren't giving me medicine, they were like checking my blood and checking my vitals. I got like it was so hard to sleep. And when I did sleep, I wound up missing meal times because it seems to be the only times I could sleep. But eventually I got released like late on Thursday, and then when I got home I was so tired from all the hoopla at the hospital. I slept for like several days straight and didn't really wake up until the middle of the night last night, and I've been awake ever since. I'm doing a little bit better. I'm less sleepy, which is good because I got a doctor appointment early this afternoon, so good thing to be awake for that. And hopefully this doctor will be able to give me some good medicine that will help, get rid of the rest of the blood clots and keep them from happening again. Because the hospital prescribed some medicine, but there was a backup in my pharmacy, so they didn't get any medicine. So I've been without medicine for this condition since I got out of the hospital. And I'm like, no wonder I've been so out of it. My body just doing what it can to fight everything. So hopefully this doctor will have some more answers. She's probably going to run a few more tests. Because the hospital said the fact that I've had blood clots repeatedly in less than 2 years is problematic. Because initially they thought, the first blood clot they linked to pregnancy because pregnancy, especially if it's a rough one, can lead to blood clots. So I figure, oh, pregnancy, blood clot, makes sense. These blood clots made absolutely no sense because they listed a whole laundry list of things. Like, have you done this? Have you done that? Have you been here? Have you been there? I'm like, no. They're like, well, that's weird. So, there's no explanation for where these came from. So they're thinking it's either, well, this is the hospital. They're thinking it's either a clotting disorder, which would really suck because I mean I'd be on medication for the rest of my life, or it's caused by my birth control, which I got taken off the birth control, might help fix it, but that's up to the specialist I'm seeing today to decide, you know, what the probable cause is. No, I got my first blood clot almost 2 years ago when I gave birth to my second kid. It was like, literally like 2 weeks after I gave birth, I was back in the hospital with a blood clot. It was terrible because not only was I in the hospital with a blood clot, and it was painful and miserable, I was also really missing my newborn baby. It was not a fun time. And because it was in the early days of COVID, my husband, who was home at the time, could only visit for a couple hours at a time. He couldn't actually stay with me in the hospital or anything. Meanwhile, if he had been home this go around, because I wasn't a COVID patient, he would have been allowed to stay with me, and that would have been really nice. I had to spend the entire time in the hospital alone, aside from my mom poking her head in to visit a couple of times. I spent the entire time in the hospital alone. Hey, howdy, hey people joining. How goes it? I'm really hoping the cause is something simple like my birth control or whatever, so I get that, you know, taken care of and taken out. If I'd fix it, that'd be great, because I really don't want to be on medication for the rest of my life. I'm already on medication that I'm going to be on my entire life. I don't want any more. That'd suck. Yeah, when I had the first blood clot, they were so paranoid about COVID, like, he can only visit for like a couple hours and they kick him out, and I was so sad and upset about that, because I was so scared. I was joking when I was in the ER waiting to figure out like what was going on with me, waiting for the doctor to have some answers. I'm like, if this is a new variant of COVID, I hope I get to name it, because I want to name it. This is new form of COVID. I'm naming it. My body, I name it. But it wasn't a new form of COVID. I was mildly disappointed in that. The little fox probably looks like a Neopet because it might have been like drawn by someone who draws Neopets. Who knows? Being alone in hospital sucks. Especially because it's like, okay, so I'm a bit spoiled. All of my TV right now is internet, so I can just like not have commercials or skip through commercials or whatever. It's no big deal, and I can watch what I want when I want to watch. Hospital TV is obviously not like that. Hospital TV is just regular TV. And it was so boring. And the Wi-Fi in the hospital was trash. So I couldn't even really watch anything on my phone when I could get my phone to work. And I'm like, So not only was I just in pain and miserable, I was also very bored. Hey Seth, I'm doing a little bit better. I'm definitely more perked up than I have been the past several days. What did irk me about the time I was in the waiting room in the ER was I was clearly like doubled over with horrible pain in my body and my chest. Not having a good time. And this Karen was complaining to the desk staff why she wasn't bumped up to the front of the line because she had a cough. I'm like, really, Karen? Really? You got a cough. I don't know what's wrong with me. I could be dying. Because what scared my family to bring me to the ER is some of the symptoms I was showing could also have meant cardiac arrest. And that's no fun. I did feel bad for this one girl in the waiting room because she was clearly just doing all she could to fight from, like, puking her guts out. Like, her face was, like, a combination of red and green, and she was hunched over, and her partner was just, like, rubbing her back and rubbing her shoulders, and had, like, a plastic bag at the ready, and I'm like, oh, this poor girl. She really should get seen soon. But yeah, that Karen was, like, just a wee bit annoying. So were the people who, like, get, like, weirdly comfy in waiting rooms. Like, they take their shoes off, and they, like, will, like, prop their feet up on the backs of the chairs in front of them. And I'm like, yo, this ain't your house. Wait until you're in an actual room before you get comfy. Come on now. That's gross. It's like, I'm in pain and not knowing what's going on with me, and I'm still, you know, keeping my clothes on here. What did also fuss me, and I'm just gonna go on about this, is that the hospital, like, posted everywhere their strict mask policy, which included mask must cover nose and mouth. Nose and mouth, because that just makes sense. Because the mask is supposed to prevent the transmission of droplets out of your facial holes. And there was people who just kept, like, slipping their mask under their nose, and I'm like, why doesn't the hospital staff say anything? Like, if they sneeze or cough and they happen to have COVID, they're just screwing everyone around them if the person around them doesn't already have COVID. Like, if someone else is here for, like, something like I am, we're screwed. Like, cover yourself. It's only for a bit. You can deal. Oh, good day, mate. Well, people wore masks in the ER, don't get me wrong, because it's hospital policy. Like, they would, like, not let you in if you weren't wearing a mask. But people were just deciding to not wear the mask correctly. One time I was in an ER for an unrelated thing years ago, and there was this woman in a wheelchair actively, this is gross, but she was actively just bleeding, and she still had to just wait there. And I'm like, if I was hospital staff and someone came in and they were just actively bleeding everywhere, I would do what I can to rush them in the back. At least get them out of the way so people in the waiting room aren't, like, freaked out seeing someone bleeding in front of them. But hospitals just suck. I don't know what they're like in other countries. I just know in America they generally suck. Even the quote-unquote good ones tend to be a little bit suck. My mom is guilty of being a mouth-only mask wearer, and I keep nagging her. I'm like, you have to cover your whole face. And she's like, but it's not comfortable. And I'm like, it's not supposed to be fully comfortable. You're supposed to do it so you don't get other people sick, because no one knows what germs you have, okay? The only time I was ever rushed to the back, like, right away, either the hospital wasn't that busy to begin with, or I just got lucky, was when I had my first blood clot a couple weeks after I had my baby. Because I literally showed up in a wheelchair, doubled over, barely able to breathe, and I could barely, like, check in. And they rushed me back into a trauma room. And here's what got me, though. The doctor of that trauma room initially didn't take me very seriously. He's like, oh yeah, you should be in and out soon. It's probably no big deal. I bet he was assuming I was having a panic attack or something. But as protocol, you know, he did the test, he did the CT scan and everything. And then it was funny, his demeanor changed after he looked over the CT scan. He's like, yeah, I guess we're admitting you. You have a blood clot in your lung, which is called a pulmonary embolism. And if you were to wait this out, you could possibly die. I was like, oh joy. And because of COVID, my husband couldn't wait in the room with me. He had to wait in the car. So I had to call him and tell him what was going on. And he, like, of course, like, freaked out because that's scary. To all the people who complain about wearing masks, what about furries? Furries in their full fursuits, because not every furry has the money and the privilege to have an air-conditioned fursuit. The average fursuit does not have good ventilation or anything. But they soldier through. Not only do they wear those fursuits at conventions, some of them wear them in public. And they just soldier on through, even though they can probably barely breathe and they're melting in there. Same for all, like, the mascot characters at, like, Six Flags and Disneyland and stuff like that. They just soldier on through. So it's like, are you trying to tell me that you're not more boss than a furry or more boss than freaking Mickey Mouse? You telling me a furry or Mickey Mouse is tougher than you? Because you just gotta wear, like, a little bit of paper or, like, a piece of cloth over your face. They have to cover their whole dang heads. Sorry to ruin the magic if you thought that the Mickey Mouse characters in Disneyland were real. I had that magic ruined for me when I was a little kid. Hey, howdy, hey. Well, welcome to a stream. Yeah, I couldn't go back to sleep, so I decided I was just gonna hang out with you all for a bit. Probably not until my doctor appointment, but for a bit. See where the conversation takes us. And no one ruined Santa for my kids yet, because Santa is the current, like, thing that keeps my kids well behaved throughout most of wintertime. And I don't want that taken away from me just yet. Hey, William. And sorry if you can hear my bird, it's daytime, so bird's gonna make random noises. Especially if the dog's outside, she likes to squawk at the dog. We don't really do Easter Bunny in my house, because we're husband and I, we're mixed faith. I'm Jewish, he's Lutheran. So we do, a bit of both with our holidays. We do, like, the nice little, like, candy baskets and stuff like that for Easter. But we don't do the whole shebang. But if the neighborhood does an Easter egg hunt, we'll let the kids go and have fun with that. But we don't go, like, all in the way he likes to do for Christmas. My older kid does believe in the Tooth Fairy, and was very disappointed that she only leaves money and not presents like Santa. And I'm like, yep, that's how the Tooth Fairy works. It's just a little bit of money. Got a deal. She's a tiny little thing, so you can only carry so much. We don't have a version of Easter. Our spring holiday around Easter time is called Passover, which tells the story of Moses and, you know, escaping Egypt and all that. It's a very important holiday, but it's not a very fun one. But Jews have our own version of like Halloween that happens in like around March-ish, called Purim, where you get to like dress up in goofy outfits and you get to like spin around this like noisemaker called a grogger, and you get to like play little festival games, and you eat these cookies that make fun of the hat worn by the villain of the story of Purim. Basically, the story of Purim is the story of Esther, if you don't know the book of Esther. She's this Jewish Hebrew girl who winds up, through circumstances, basically becoming queen of the realm and gets in good nature with the king. Meanwhile, this evil man, Haman, who wears a pointy hat, was trying to expel the Hebrews out of the realm. But she convinces the king to save the Hebrews because she reveals she is one and he's in love with her. And then she shows Haman's evil plan, so that Haman gets punished. And to celebrate that, we eat cookies in the shape of his hat to make fun of him. To this very day. That is how petty Jews can be. Oh, I love otters. I love otters more so in the wild than in captivity, but otters, at least in captivity, seem to have a relatively good time, especially if they have like their own little like playground area with a slide and stuff. Then they're kind of living, and I don't feel too bad for them. But I prefer my animals in the wild. So yeah, like that's that's Purim, and we celebrate with like a big festival and everything. It's pretty fun. I remember one year when I was a kid at my synagogue, they had a little festival with little like prizes for games, and one of them was a little goldfish, and I won the goldfish, and I took it home, and my parents weren't very happy with me because they were not prepared for another pet, and they really didn't want to rush out and get a whole setup for a fish, but they did anyway. But because it was one of those carnival fish, it probably wasn't kept in the best condition, so it only lasted like a month. R.I.P. Purim fish. You were a nice fish for the brief time I had you. I caught a little bit of Beast Wars. I never really got into the Transformers series. My brother used to like be kind of into it, so I'd kind of watch when he watched. Favorite breed of dog? Ooh, that's tough, because I like corgis, I like pit bulls, I like German shepherds, I like Basenjis, I like pharaoh hounds. I like all kinds of dogs. I just like dogs in general. What's up, bird? How's it going, bird? I'm aware you're a bird. I do kind of like Maine Coon cats. Two of my cats are at least half Maine Coon. They're not quite full-blood Maine Coon, just because they're not quite like the size of a Maine Coon, but they have like the feet and the fluff, so they're part Maine Coon and they're pretty cute. Some of yous are great dogs. They're really cute. I tried following The Mandalorian, and then I got sidetracked. I haven't seen the Book of Boba Fett yet. I don't have time. I don't have the time or the energy to watch a lot of things. I barely have the time to keep up with stuff on YouTube. Because between, like, my family and my kids, because they tend to monopolize the TV when they're awake, I don't really get to do much except watch what's on my phone, and all I really have on my phone is YouTube. I think the cutest cat breed, and this is just my own bias, is the Russian Blue. And that's because I have one. Well, he's at least part Russian Blue. He looks very Russian Blue, so I can imagine he's at least majority Russian Blue. But he's a good boy. His name is Knight. Short for Nightcrawler. Like the X-Men. He's a very good boy, even though he's my old man now. He turns 12 this year. He's my good boy. Hello, welcome. My current dog is half Corgi, half German Shepherd. Don't ask me how that works. Not German Shepherd, half Pit Bull. That's right. Half Corgi, half Pit Bull, because she's got the Pit Bull smile and the Pit Bull build. But she's got the Corgi ears and the Corgi markings. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how a Corgi and a Pit Bull got together, but that somehow went down. And she's very, very cute. She's also an old lady now. But she's my old lady, and she's a good girl, too. She's my Miss Mimi. Miss Mimi. Most romantic song ever heard? Well, I'm gonna give a troll answer and say Closer by 9 Inch Nails. Because that's pretty romantic. Oh dang, a 31-year-old cat? That's pretty epic. There are 5 cats in my house. I got my Russian Blue guy, Night Night. He's my good boy. He's almost 12. I got my kind of a jerk cat who is, I think, part Maine Coon, but he's really small. And he's very ornery. He's just a jerk. His name's 11. He used to be really sweet and he was a kitten, but then at some point he became a jerk. So his name's 11. And no, not for Stranger Things. He was named that before Stranger Things was even a show. So he was named that for other reasons. And then there is my oldest kid's cat, who's a few years old. He's a black and white tuxedo cat, short hair. His name is Bunga, named after a character in a show called Lion Guard. And Bunga also means crazy in Swahili, which is very fitting for the cat. And then we have 2 fluffy, at least half Maine Coon cats that are orange, named Fred and George, after the Weasley twins. But they were named this before we realized how problematic J.K. Rowling was. This is back when my family was still, like, avid Harry Potter fans. And then I have my dog, Miss Mimi. We have the bird, who's a Amelie Amazon parrot. Her name is Mikey, short for Michelle, because first got her, we thought it was a boy, so we named it Mikey. But then some stuff happened, I had to take her to the vet, and she got blood drawn, and some DNA stuff ran, and they found out it's a girl, so I was like, oh, Mikey, short for Michelle. And then we have a bumblebee colored ball python, which is basically shades of yellow, and his name is Ushari. Any bad things happened to me lately? I was just in the hospital with blood clots in my chest, so that's pretty bad. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. I appreciate it. Don't worry. I'm going about things at my own pace. It's not taking a lot out of me right now to stream. I'm just casually hanging out and chatting with you all. It's not taking a lot out of me. Thank you. Thank you very much, my friend. What's funny is my brother can actually do a pretty good Russian accent. And he likes to make fun of my cat. Because my cat was Russian blue. He's all gray. And he likes to go, he's like, he's not gray. He's Russian blue. But he says it in a much better Russian accent. It's very funny. I personally prefer saving an endangered species, unless they're a panda, in which case they just want to go extinct. Like, I don't see the point of spending bajillions of dollars saving a panda when you'll have, like, a pair that's supposed to mate and they just refuse to for years. They just sit there. It's like they just want to die. Plus, they only eat one thing, so it's kind of like, y'all are useless. There's only a select few extinct species I'd like to bring back. Namely more recently extinct species, because they didn't really deserve to die. But I don't think we should bring back woolly mammoths. They disappeared for a reason. I don't want to know what kind of juju is going to happen if we bring back a woolly mammoth. Oh, your mom had a really bad case then, unless your hospital wasn't very good. Yeah, I was in the hospital. I got all jacked up on Tuesday and had to go to the ER, and I got admitted, and I just got out like late on Thursday, and I spent the whole weekend curled up in my bed at home asleep. It's pretty intense. My husband, though, now has been talking about getting into, like, doing some YouTube voice acting. But, like, he never has time for these things. But apparently, when he's been bored and not busy working, he's been spending time in Twitter spaces. And he's been, like, dicking around doing different voices and, like, freaking people out. And they're like, you should be a voice actor. And I'm all like, that's amusing. He's been on my channel a few times voicing some stuff, if y'all want to check it out. He's not bad. He's definitely not bad. He could use some practice, but he's definitely not bad. Kids are good. Kids are good. Oldest kid's in school now, and the baby is spending the week with my in-laws whilst I take care of doctor things and recover and take care of some other stuff. Unfortunately, because of my health, I had to cancel some appointments this week with like photographers and such, and that's a bummer. But health comes first. Definitely, health comes first. Hey, howdy, hey! If my favorite food in the whole world was gone, what would I do? I'd find a new favorite food, probably. You were hanging out with him in a Twitter space? That's great. Yeah, he does a good snake voice. He has a pretty decent Alucard voice. He does some other cute voices. He can be pretty cool. So I'm trying to encourage him to branch out and just do more range with his own voice instead of like mimicking like voices that already exist. That's kind of part of being an actual voice actor, is expanding your own range, not mimicking what other people have already done. It's one of the things I learned in the professional training I've had. Because I've learned from some of the greats. Like Sonny Strait and Chris Patton and Christina V. Favorite LGBT character, in terms of like pop culture or what? Pop culture LGBT characters. Probably Willow from Buffy. She's pretty cool. She's definitely pretty cool. I think Castiel from Supernatural counts now if the ending is considered canon. Favorite straight character in anime? Isn't that like nearly every character in anime? Because from my understanding, like, fangirls and fanboys have to like make guys and gals not straight in their fan works for anime. Well, spoilers for the tail end of Supernatural, but just as he gets sucked into the empty, he tells Dean that he's loved him and always has. It's like, I love you, Dean, I always have, that kind of a thing. And it definitely didn't come off as like a platonic brotherly love. But Dean didn't say it back. Probably because of some stipulations on Jensen's end. Jensen's the actor who plays Dean Winchester. Jensen's always been a bit on the shipping of Cass and Dean. But Misha Collins, who plays Cass, has been all for it the whole time. If me and which friend switch roles, I have a few friends. Hello, welcome. My bestest friend? I guess right now that would probably be Koichi. And we switched roles. It may not go very well because she can't really get a whole lot of stuff done because she's got pretty bad carpal tunnel. So that sucks. But she lives a pretty happy life otherwise. I don't know how she would fare doing like voice work in ASMR. That'd be interesting to see. You know what's kind of great? I won't have a huge butt hospital bill from a recent hospital stay because I actually have good insurance now. So whatever copay we have, we should be able to cover easy peasy, which would be very nice. So during the last couple times I was in the hospital, before I had the baby, before I got my husband's insurance, it was awful. Those were awful copays. Yeah, Koichi's been able to whip up some sketches, which I've been very grateful for, but she said those aren't too rough on her. It's the more intricate detail pieces that tend to get to her after a little bit, and it makes her take a while to do. I've only played a little bit of Mass Effect. I've been meaning to play more. I'm not a hardcore gamer, unfortunately. Tips on voice acting. Tips on voice acting. I would say first and foremost, practice cold reading. If you don't know what cold reading is, it's basically when you're given a script and you read and you act off the cuff, just straight off from the script. You just read the script, but you don't read the script. You act off the script. And you do this a couple of times. It's called cold reading. You just, first time seeing the script, you've never read it before. You're looking at it for the first time. You're just acting based on your first reading. Practice that. And then that should help you build your range and build your ability to better follow scripts. From where do I get my special effects? The ones I don't do in mic myself, I get from a no copyright royalty free library that I subscribe to. From my background in film, I belong to all these little like subscription services that, you know, came with my previous jobs that I never got rid of. So I'm able to access quite a few things. Good, you love water. That's a good thing. Water's good for you. Admo's unique voice? Well, thank you. I used to think my voice was pretty basic. Pretty average, to be honest. Favorite quote from my favorite movie? That's tough because my favorite movie always changes. What's my favorite movie right now? I've been watching Rocky Horror a little bit lately, like on loop. So it's probably when Janet in Rocky Horror goes up to Frank and like he's asking what she thinks about Rocky, and she's like, I don't like a man with too many muscles. And Frank just like, I didn't make him for you. And I'm like, that's relatable. So that's my favorite line right now. Because that's how I feel when I make like a really niche audio for like a really niche audience. And people like complain about it. And I'm all like, I didn't make it for you. Catch you later, Seth. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Chavez. I like to do MILF ASMRs because I feel like I can relate to them, given the fact I am a mom, and I'm not a half bad looking one. At least I don't think I'm half bad looking. It's important to have like some self-confidence. What's my opinion on what now? Bike transformer, what ultimate mode do I prefer? I'd want to be a car or a plane. Go vroom vroom or meow. Allergies suck on top of everything else. No. Favorite sport? I don't really partake in sports much anymore. But, back when I did, I, was, mostly a fan of, basketball. And a bit of tennis. And, I had a lot of friends who did lacrosse. I used to watch their games quite a bit. I'm allergic to sagebrush and Nevada, mountain cedar where I currently live, and a bunch of different medications. No foods really though, so that's good. Oh, thank you, Deuterium. Appreciate ya. If I could have any superpower, what would it be? Probably like force-like power, so I could just like summon stuff to me. So I could be like the ultimate lazy. Yeah, I've been dicking around experimenting with different fonts to see what looks good. I just, depending on the context of the audio, I don't like using the same font for every thumbnail. It seems kind of samey to me. I don't want my thumbnails to get too boring. Because as it is, I'm pretty limited with graphics right now. I haven't really had the fundage to commission a whole lot of art. Oh yeah, my family members have a buttload of allergies. I don't know if they all are, but there's a buttload of allergies. Oh yo, thank you for becoming a member! Thank you! Arigatou gozaimasu. As soon as I get a certain minimum amount of members, I'll begin the member perks, so just hang tight with that. If you hear weird noises in the background, that's the garbage trucks, because it is Monday. It's garbage truck day. Hey Lexi, how you doing? Funniest meme. Funniest meme. That's a tough one, because there's a lot of funny memes out there. So my favorite Vine meme is the one where, I think it's Cody Co, he's driving and he goes, "Road work ahead. I sure hope it does." Because I think about that all the time when I'm on the highway and I see the road work ahead signs. Hey, howdy, hey, how you doing, friend? I think MILF has just been a catch-all term for a mature lady who happens to be a parent, kind of a thing. I think it's just become a catch-all term at this point. Catch you later, Jordan. Fun facts. I may create ASMR roleplay content, but I don't really listen to anybody else's. And that in part is because I don't want to risk someone else's like story or idea getting embedded in the back of my head and then just kind of going dormant for like months. And then something comes to me and then I think it's my own idea and I do it. And then people get all pissy accusing me of copying. I just don't want to risk that, so I don't really listen to anybody else. Not unless they like want my critique on something. They like actually directly approach me and ask me to listen to their audio and want to know what I think. Otherwise I don't listen to anybody. It's a good thing, like, attractiveness is completely subjective. Because what one person may find hot, another person may not, and that's just the beauty of life. Oh, don't get me started on NFTs. Oh, don't you dare. I think I've made fun of them in a few of my audios already, because they're just like, nah, fam. The only NFTs I like are the ones I have. Me nice fat tatas. Kids and husband are doing well. Husband's been busy with work. Older kids in school. Like younger kids spending some time with grandparents. So they're all doing well. They're all doing well. I remember the good old days when like Bitcoin was like the only cryptocurrency, and it was primarily used to buy illegal drugs and guns off the internet and also pay for sex workers. I remember the good old days. Oh, I agree. It's okay for multiple artists to do the same script as long as they put their own twist on it. But the thing is, though, I don't use scripts really. I do my own thing. So I would hate to like actually copy someone else's direct idea, like not a script, but their actual own original idea. Like that would be terrible. I thought it was so funny when I got like my graphics card. I got it despite, there being a bunch of crypto bros waiting in line. Because basically the poor salesman just wanted to see who could possibly be the most worthy of the last remaining affordable graphics card. And he's like, what do you want it for? And I'm all like, I want to play some games, and also I'm getting into being a VTuber, so I like something that could like run all my stuff. And he was just like, sold. Because he did not want to sell it to a crypto bro. I get you, Alexia, I get you, but you have no idea how picky some audiences can be. Where they're like, no, this is someone else's idea, you copied them, and it starts a whole tirade. I just don't want to risk it. Just don't. Well, if Mjolnir was on top of my toilet seat, that'd be no big deal, because I'm totally worthy of lifting it. Fun fact. No, he just like handed it to me. He's like, you can go check out now. You could tell the crypto bros had been on his ass for a while and he was just getting sick of them. Hey, howdy, hey, Drago. A couple of like, well, they used to be friends of mine, but now they're more like acquaintances. We're going on about like crypto stuff on my Facebook, and I'm like, no, you drank the Kool-Aid. I liked you. Favorite Avenger, favorite Avenger. That's tough. That's really tough. Probably Scarlet Witch. Tie between Scarlet Witch and Vision. Which is why WandaVision was a very good show. Hey, howdy, hey. I did also like War Machine. War Machine was a good dude. The War Machine got kind of ruined for me because I dated an asshole who cosplayed as him. So now I was a little bit tainted. Saddest movie scene? Oh, that's... For me, it's in Marley and Me. I'm just gonna say it, Marley and Me. That movie is sad. Just at least it's sadness. Favorite DC character? Probably Nightwing. I just have a thing for Dick. Well, I just got some not so good news. Not so good news via text message. My pain management specialist is closing the end of the month and is moving offices, and it's gonna take him like 2 or 3 months to do that, so they won't be able to see patients. And if someone really needs something, they'll refer them to another doctor. And I'm like, well, will that doctor even take my insurance? What? Well, hello in Brazil. Well, I'm doing okay right now. How are you? How often do I collaborate with other creators? It just depends. It depends on the other creators, and it just depends on everybody's schedules and just who wants to do what. Like, some creators have been like really cool with me, and we vibe, and we plan out collabs, and we get started on them, and then others are just kind of cold to me, so I'm like, okay, whatever. Be a biatch. Do I have a personal favorite audio on my channel? Y'all, I've done like almost like 600 at this point. It's really hard for me to pinpoint just one at this point. Maybe if you asked me like a few hundred audios ago, I probably could have named one, but now at this point I've done so many and I'm really proud of a bunch of them. Yeah, my dude, I emailed you back. Did you not get it? Hey, howdy, hey. Have I ever written or recorded something and look back and go, did I do that? Yes. Yes, I have. Usually when it's something really off the wall. Though in some cases when I was writing, I was like that too. Back when I used to write, like, really raunchy fan fictions. I like being 02 too. I try and do a different take on her than other people do. I try to channel more of her Japanese persona than the dub. I like doing MILFs. I've grown to like doing yanderes to a point. Nekos are always fun as well. Just, well, mostly depends on the neko, but for the most part they're pretty fun. But I definitely have grown into liking doing MILFs. I've been sick technically since Tuesday when I went to the hospital. Oh yeah, I wish Darling the Franks would have gone a lot less squirrely. Oh, that's weird. Here. Resend your email and I'll check through my sent thing and just copy and paste what I replied to you. Oh man, my dude, it's been so long since I've seen Darling the Franks. Hey, howdy, hey, Joshua. I have not seen Violet Evergarden yet. I'm really behind on anime. The newest thing I've watched is Beastars. If I had to list every weird dream I ever had, we would be here, like, for a week at least. Just me rambling off my weird dreams. It's a side effect of some meds I have that I have some really weird dreams. I really should watch more anime. I just don't have either the time or the attention span to do so. It really sucks. Anime movies I enjoy. I like the works of Hayao Miyazaki. Like Princess Mononoke is a really good one. My Neighbor Totoro. Pompoko, Tanuki Wars. Some good stuff there. I keep meaning to see A Silent Voice, but I have to be in a good mental state to see it, and I haven't really been in a good state to see it yet. Mirai, which is on Netflix, is a good one. It kind of hit me in the feels, being a parent of a kid who's used to being an only, who then has a new sibling, and dealing with the change in family dynamics. Worst song I've heard? Probably the creepy song by Julian Solomita. It is absolute earblood. It's addictive earblood, but it's absolute earblood. Thank you, my friend. What video? Remember a lot of dislikes? They're talking about one of my videos, or just a video in general? Yes, your stopping by is really appreciated, friend. Yeah, I don't understand written Japanese. As my chair goes, crunch. Oh, I thought Rewind getting all the dislikes was pretty funny. That was pretty funny, but this happened since dislikes went away, but there's a Google Chrome extension that lets you see dislikes again. The upload by Creepshow Art, where she tries to tear apart Emily Artful, has like a bajillion dislikes. Like, no one's falling for her crap, and I find that super hilarious. I follow some YouTube drama just because it gives me life sometimes. What do I do if I feel depressed? I curl up in a ball and watch some funny stuff on YouTube. Namely old Vine compilations. Or even TikTok compilations, even though I still don't quite understand TikTok. What country I want to visit? Well, right now I want to visit Japan for what should be obvious reasons. Gotta stretch. Oh yeah, so those of you who come to my streams kind of regularly, about every 30 minutes to an hour during a stream, if I make it that long, remind me to do ankle pumps. Because I've been instructed to do that if I'm sitting for a long period of time. Helps with the blood flow. If Mr. Krab's my boss, what would I do? Oh, I turn him to crab cakes and eat him. I personally have not served military before, but my spouse is currently enlisted and currently deployed. Hey, howdy, hey, how are you doing, friend? Broken rib? Ooh, that stinks. That happened to my husband a while ago. It's no fun. Suggestions on distractions? Funny video compilations, but that may not be a good idea because if you laugh, that might hurt your rib more. So never mind. That may not be a good idea. Watch one of my videos. There you go. You won't laugh at that. I had to watch Grave of the Fireflies for a class in college, and it upset some of us so much. Like, that was a rough movie. I've seen rougher, like, I've seen a Barefoot Gen, but Grave of the Fireflies is still pretty rough. So hello everybody just joining the stream. Don't feel shy. I don't really bite. I just vibe. Just here for the vibes. I should take a sippy of my drinky drink. Favorite 80s song? Probably like anything by Michael Jackson. Oh, John Cena makes me laugh way more than Rick Astley at this point. Rick Astley is just so played out. I'm so sorry, sweetheart, but I really only speak English. I understand a few other languages, but I'm not very good at them. Oh yes, there is one song that makes me feel pretty dope. Let's see if I can bring it up. I'm not going to play it because of copyright. But it's by Tempo Shark. It's called Don't Mess With Me. Makes me feel strong. Which other work of VTuber? There's a whole bunch now. Some of them are really cool. One I tried to talk to is kind of standoffish. And then one of them's part of Hollow Live, so they're like unapproachable. If YouTube got me a pure YouTube Rewind, I might do it if I could do something really memey. Other than that, I'd probably say no. Oh, funny thing about Moto Moto. Back when I went to Disneyland in November, the car that picked us up to take us to the hotel had like a TV in it, and it was playing Madagascar 2, and it got to the Moto Moto scene, and you can best believe I thought of someone here in chat when it got to the Moto Moto scene. And no one with me understood why I was giggling. Oh, my parents are good. They're mostly good. My pops is a bit restless because he's currently retired, but he's actually looking to go back to work for a while because he's tired of being retired for now. My mom had to retire for medical reasons, and she's going in for more treatments in a couple of months, so I wish her well. I hope she handles it. I don't have their grandmother. I don't even have my own grandmother. Which is kind of sad. My grandmother has Alzheimer's and dementia, and she's not doing well. I may actually be going to her funeral later this year. Sad times. So yeah, if I disappear again really suddenly and I'm gone for like almost like a week, it's because my grandmother passed and I had to like rush up to where she is to bury her. And then I had to go, because we're Jewish, I had to sit Shiva. So that's definitely going to happen in the somewhat near future. Both the concept of a gorilla or a T-Rex scare me a bit. Just saying. And I prefer a dog over a monkey, because you've seen the kind of damage monkeys can do to a person without even thinking about it. Monkeys are scary. Oh, my grandma's not gone yet. She just has really bad dementia, or she's not even aware of where she is anymore, so there's no point in visiting her anymore. And so now, according to my uncle, it's just waiting for the inevitable, which could happen anytime this year. The doctors don't think she's going to make it to the end of the year. So it sucks, but I do have a go bag on the ready for if I have to hop a flight to go to her funeral. Because in the Jewish tradition, you have to bury someone within 3 days of their passing. So I gotta be able to hop on a plane real quick when that happens. I wanna know why my chair is so noisy. I like roses a bit more than daisies because they have a nice, pleasant smell. Oh, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, unfortunately I can't do much to change my stream time. I may be able to make it so it's like a little bit earlier. Like maybe stream closer to like 6:30 my time. Instead of like the between 7 and 8 that I usually do. But that really depends on my family's ability to watch my kids. I can kind of dance. I actually was a trained dancer when I was a kid. Took dance classes and everything. And I did a fair amount of dancing for cosplay performances when I was in high school. I would hire a babysitter if it wasn't the fact they're so expensive these days. And just the fact that my house is currently under renovations, so it's a bit of a mess, and I'd feel wholly embarrassed having a babysitter over here that wasn't already like a family friend or something. I did hip hop and jazz dance mostly. I never had the decent enough balance to do ballet. When he's home, Husbando and I want to do some swing dancing classes. That should be fun. How did I end off 2021? I literally slept on New Year's Eve after going out to dinner someplace very open, out in the air with a friend of mine. Basically went out for dinner, got a few drinks, then came home and slept and woke up just about 30 minutes before midnight. "2021 was a bit of a mixed bag for me. It had its ups and downs. It started off alright, and then it kind of slowly started dipping down, then it picked back up a little bit, then it started dipping down, and then towards the end of the year it really tanked, unfortunately. I'm not super into K-pop. There's a few groups and songs I like, but other than that, I'm not super duper into it. Which I know is sacrilege to say on the internet. I hope I have a good year too, because I could definitely use it. Definitely use things getting better, because so far it hasn't had a very good start. I've done a couple of spiders actually. I've done a spider prosecutor, and then I've done a spider character in my forest storyline. I don't know it's cold today. Let me check. Check the weather. It's kind of cold, a little chilly. My favorite sound to hear is really clear, crisp whispering. And my favorite one to produce is probably either a nice oily ear massage or ear eating. Just with lots of mouth sounds. I have a superhero character in the works. I'm just trying to work out all the details. I really enjoy the German language. It does sound a bit aggressive, but it's aggressive in a nice way. I've done a Spider-Verse character. I've done Black Cat, Felicia Hardy. You don't see too much of her on the internet anymore. How I sleep at night? It really just depends. Some nights I go out pretty easily, pretty quickly. Other nights I kind of toss and turn a bit, and my mind wanders. It just depends. Catch you later, Nathan. Thanks for popping by. Oh, there's a fair amount of internet people I dislike, but I'm not gonna name names because that's just mean. Because everybody has people they like, and everybody has people they dislike. I imagine there's plenty of people who don't like me, so I'm not gonna spread hate or anything. My husband's favorite food? He's definitely an old-fashioned steak and potatoes kind of guy. He also really likes Whataburger. Because the world is spinning very slowly. That's why we fall in the same place when we jump. It falls slow. It spins more slowly than our bodies can realize. I'm more of a vampire person than a werewolf person, that's for sure. I have eaten so many apples already. I am sick of apples. My favorite mythological god? It depends. You're talking Greek, Roman, Egyptian? There's quite a few out there. Well, fortunately, I already got married, so I don't have to worry about Mr. Bean attending my wedding. But if he did show up, I imagine hijinks would ensue. Okay, my favorite hairstyle, and this dates me quite a bit. Remember, like, the late 2000s, the scene hair, where you had, like, the extensions, and the different colors, and the side swept bangs, and how the hair was kind of, like, both straight, but also kind of, like, fluffy a bit, and it just stuck out a bit, but it was also straight. Yeah, that's my favorite hairstyle. There's a lot of things in this world I should do, but I don't do them. Mostly it's lack of time, or energy, or brain. Because I have horrific ADHD. I would do it because of ASMR. If I could channel the character, but alas I cannot, because I can barely get through Attack on Titan. It's a little too gory for me, at least the beginning. It kind of turned me off. It was a little too gory. Ever since having kids, I've been a bit sensitive to gore. I don't know how to explain it. Superpower I wish for most of my life, other than the ability to, like, heal myself, like Deadpool style, would be, like, to have, like, force powers where I can just, like, summon things to me. Because then I could be, like, the ultimate lazy person. I would love to do an ASMR based off my favorite TV show character. Just you wait, I'm gonna do a Castiel from Supernatural ASMR. It's gonna happen. If animals could talk, which animal would be the meanest? I think parrots, because they're already pretty mean. It's funny because when I made my tiger characters, I wasn't even thinking of the zodiac. I was just doing them because I finally was able to put together an asset in the program I used to do the models for my thumbnails that was able to look like a tiger. My favorite fashion sense is like the Harajuku Japanese goth style. I like that a lot, especially like kawaii goth. I enjoy that immensely. So how's everyone else doing? Everyone else doing good? Doing well? Vibing? My favorite tool to use is oil. I just personally really enjoy oily sounds. Let's see. Which character series I marry, sleep, kill? If I go with Doctor Who, I would marry the probably the 10th Doctor, sleep with the Master, and kill Rose, because screw Rose. Ooh, shots. Your dance? Okay. I've seen flying cockroaches. In the south we call them palmetto bugs, and they are terrifying. I usually wind up going after them with a broom. I do not collect Pop Funkos. I have a couple of them that were given to me as gifts. But other than that, I don't really have that many. I kind of think they're a bit pointless. I'd be able to tell you what the music in the background is called likely if I was able to hear it, but with how my stream setup is, I can only hear myself in the microphone. I cannot hear what's playing in the background. I highly recommend if you have your phone app, Shazam, just Shazamming what you hear. My final form would be Angelwoman from Digimon. That's exactly what my final form would be. Yeah, I could do with some ankle pumps. Pumpity pumpity pump pump pump, pumpity pumpity pump pump pump. Ugh. So annoying. Of course I'll drink water. I've been drinking water anyway. Oh, no problem, no problem. Thank you. Well, like I said, I get Pop Funkos as a gift. It's ridiculous. People who it's generally from family members who know I like nerd stuff, but never know what to get me for my birthday or for holidays. They'll just send me a Pop Funko. I've always heard them called Pop Funkos. I've heard some people call them Funko Pops, but they seem to always be called Pop Funkos in the stores I go to. Oh, my baby has the softest hair. She's the softest little fox in the world. She's still technically a baby. She's not 2 yet. She's only 19 months. No, I don't do that. I don't do that. I do, however, fat shame my cats. Because I know it's not good to fat shame humans. But you can definitely fat shame cats. Wait, Uncle Roger, wait, what's that from? I know Mr. Roger from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Well, catch you later, sleepy person. Haley Kyoko or Kilani? I do not, I don't think. Oh, Hellbringer, I'm glad it's able to help you. Yeah, being engaged is really stressful. I remember when I first got engaged to Husbando, it was hectic. Okay, yeah, I never heard of him. Anyone else remember Filthy Frank? I remember Filthy Frank. That was some good stuff. Yay, your work starts later. Congrats. Yeah, fantasy wedding. Well, what are your bride-to-be's favorite colors? I remember the old days of Filthy Frank and the OG iDubbbz with Content Cop. Because Content Cop, whenever you release one, it was like a YouTube holiday. Everybody stopped what they were doing to watch a Content Cop. Too bad he couldn't take down Keemstar. That was a shame. Keemstar is just like a freaking cockroach of YouTube. Oh, I haven't seen Filthy Frank in so long I couldn't name an individual video. I just remember his presence on the internet just gave me life. What a lot of people don't know is Filthy Frank invented the Harlem Shake. That's attributed to Filthy Frank. Most people just know it as the Harlem Shake video. If I eat one fictional food, what would it be? That's tough. I've seen some really good fictional food. I hate to say, as much as I don't like Harry Potter anymore, some of the foods described in those books sounded really good. I tried to bring my own bags, but I usually forget. I'll catch you later, Dominic. Thank you for joining and becoming a member. Appreciate ya. Mwah. Oh, you can do a lot with rose quartz in a wedding. Maybe incorporate it with obviously white and maybe some yellow. No, I'm not super tired. I literally spent Thursday afternoon until late Sunday asleep. So now I'm just wide awake. Yeah, with rose quartz you incorporate white, incorporate yellow. You also incorporate black too. Gives nice contrast. Depends on the kind of vibe you want to go for. Well, I don't know about y'all, but it feels like this stream is starting to wind down. And I've got to leave for my specialist doctor appointment in about an hour. So I should probably get ready for my doctor's appointment. But thank you all for joining me on this fine morning. I really appreciate you all. Especially given I'm not feeling 100%. Oh, well, thank you for joining me, and thank you for your very interesting questions. You know, regardless if the stream's actually winding down or not, I should probably bounce off because I got about an hour before I have to leave for my doctor appointment. I might hop back on after my appointment because I don't have Little Fox to watch. So I may hop back on to chit chat with y'all some more. Just depends how I'm feeling. But aside from that, I am gonna bounce now. I had a lovely time with you all. Thank you for your awesome questions. Thank you all for just hanging out and vibing with me. And I will see you next time, okay? And I do have an upload going on later this afternoon that I started before I got sick and was able to finish editing this morning. So look for that at around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all for joining me. Really appreciate you. Love you all and stay awesome. Mwah. Mwah. Bye 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 bye. Bye 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 bye. Meow meow. Ara ara. Ara ara.